about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and there he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo will win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Gernot Rohr to know his fate next week. This is actually coming from the sport minister at this point in time. And news actually going around is that the NFF is set to get a coach from Eastern Europe. And also we'll be looking at Delta State getting to approve the sum of 456 million naira for the package for the victorious athlete from the National Sport Festival. Also, you're going to be looking at the weekend fixtures that we'll have for you. The peak of it is the game between the Liverpool and Arsenal. This is how we welcome you to yet another edition of Sports Orbit right here on the Leadership and Podcast Studio. My name is Olawale Ayeni, and I'll be your host for today. As you can see in the studio, Alpha actually is actually waiting on the show to talk sport this beautiful evening. Alpha, how are you doing?
Fine. How are you doing?
Very, very good at this point in time. Quickly, we head straight to our first story where the sports minister talking about Sunday Dare saying that the coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles, talking about Coach Gernot Rohr, we know his fate next week. As it is now, he said that he's expecting the Nigerian Football Federation to actually give him a detailed report of the appraisal of Coach Gernot Rohr right from the day of his appointment up to this point, where the Nigerian Super Eagles just drew the match against Cape Verde right there in Lagos, and we know that that particular match, the fans of Nigeria were not happy with the performance of the team. But what do you make of the comments coming from the sports minister at this point in time, Alpha?
Yeah, I mean, it's expected. Sometime earlier this week, while me and Salifu were both here, we talked extensively about Gernot Rohr, and I remember Salifu saying that he thinks it's high time that the federal government, through the Ministry of Sports, actually intervenes. And I'm happy that the Ministry of Sports has come out to say that they will wait for the technical report of the NFF to give a general appraisal of Gernot Rohr since our last past matches and see the recommendations of that technical committee. And until then, for now, it still remains the Eagles coach. But until that committee comes up, they will sit down and look at it properly and take a decision that will be satisfactory to all Nigerians. Because the truth is, I think 90% of Nigerian football fans are not happy with the way the Eagles have been performing. It's been a long time since we've had this kind of quality on the pitch, and yet, yes, fine, we can say we are winning games here and there, but the manner in which we are winning this game, called a lot to question, because we can't be struggling against sides that ordinarily, yes, no more knows in football, but we can't be struggling against sides that ordinarily should be taken apart, very easily. Sides will come to Nigeria and they won't play better than us. The Central African Republic will come and record victories right here in our home for the first time in over how many years. So I think it's high time that the Ministry of Sports, the federal government is interested in this matter, and they need to sit down, look at his performances, because out of the 50-something games he has played as Eagle coach, he has won only about 28. For me, I think that is poor, because if you check, the amount of time he has stayed, and other coaches who have been before him, who have played even lesser number of games, have more wins. So I think it's time to really look at what he needs to be done. If he needs to go, then he needs to go.
According to the minister, he said until the NFL present a report of the performance of the coach to the ministry, there will not be a decision on whether to sack or to allow him to continue on the job. I want to believe that everything should be done to ensure that Super Eagles qualify for the World Cup. When the FIBA president came visiting President Muhammadu Buhari here, I recall he said, "Mr. President, seeing Qatar, that is what I stand." So I have instructed the NFL to bring an assessment report on the coach role. That is actually coming from the Minister of Youth and Sport at this point in time. But however, what we have actually seen from the Super Eagles at this point in time, do you think the nation's flag will be actually flying right there in 2022 Qatar?
At this point, it's difficult to really say, except some drastic changes actually happen in the technical group generally, because we are going for the playoffs. Next month, we will know who will play up. But I mean, among the 9 other teams, including Nigeria, making up 10 who are qualified for these playoffs, there's no easy team there.
Of course.
You know,
mind you, we have dropped points because we actually drew against Cape Verde. We lost against the African Republic. We won them away Cameroon. So it means we have actually dropped some points. So the next October ranking might just fall out from the top 5.
Yeah, you remember the ranking when it came out this time?
Yes.
We dropped because that was to Central African Republic, and opposite draw to Cape Verde, who is ranked among the top 50 ranked countries in the world. You know, further take our ranking below. Then for the teams that are have been built to be in that draw to the playoff. Like we said yesterday, those teams, whichever way you want to see them, all of those teams are better than either Cape Verde, Liberia, or Central African Republic. By far. The other day I was listening to a sports program on another media house, and one of the sports journalists there was saying that he hopes that we get either Mali or Congo.
If we get Mali at this point in time, they will beat us.
And I just laughed. When he felt Mali and Congo were the weakest teams there, I said, look, there is no weak team among these 10 teams. All these teams, the Congolese side are a tough side. They are a very youthful side who are very mobile. The Malian side is
they want to go to the World Cup.
They all want to go to the World Cup.
And this is our first time if they're going to qualify.
So whoever is thinking that either Mali or Congo will be an easy draw, or Ghana will be making a big mistake. Of course. All we need to do is to put our hearts in order. And whoever comes, whoever we face in that draw, just go out there, play your game, and ensure that you get the necessary points to go to the draw. Because a lot of Nigerians, some, well, not to sound negative, but some Nigerians are really pessimistic. Some Nigerians already are saying that they do not think that the Eagles will make it to Qatar. But as a Nigerian who really wants, who will be hoping to see, the flag flying also in Qatar, well, we hope that what needs to be done will be done, and the Eagles will eventually seal that qualification.
Of course, we hope that what is needed to be done will be actually be done by both the players and the technical officials, not even leaving out the Nigerian Football Federation, due to the fact that they are the one that get to oversee all the affairs of football in the country. It would be very, very disastrous if the Super Eagles did not actually make it to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar at this point in time. We need to be actually there. If not, football fans will not actually come easy on the glass house at this point. In terms of talking about the NFF, because NFF are in touch with a coach from Eastern Europe to actually replace Gernot Rohr. This is actually coming from Peter side, talking about former should I say media officer of the Nigerian Super Eagles in that particular one. And he actually confirmed this in the Super Sports TV program Soccer Africa on Thursday night. He said that they have contacted a coach from Eastern Europe to take over from Coach Gernot Rohr. I do not know the coach, but they have not given me permission. I know the coach, but they have not given me the permission to announce his name. This disclosure actually come at a time when former Super Eagles coach, talking about Joe Bonfrey, has reported that throw in his hat to actually return to his former post. While this one in time, we had to use over the Nigerian Super Eagles, but football free Joe coming back to the national team. Do we actually need someone like Joe? Because even during his days, we didn't actually perform spectacularly, but not leaving out that he actually won the Atlanta 96 one. That was with the Dream Team and not with the Nigerian Super Eagles.
But I think I remember he even took us to One Nations Cup or so, where we came. Of course, we won our usual. It looks like irrespective of the coach that takes Nigeria to Nations Cup, we always come with that promise.
Of course, maybe bronze is our better at this point.
Yeah, maybe if they sack Rohr, maybe depending when they bring a new coach, they could also, appoint him to take us to the Nations Cup.
You get us the bronze medal.
I'm sure
you get us the bronze
medal. But seriously speaking, there'll be speculation of a coach from Eastern Europe, where we do not know, but I'm really thinking the question is, it will be sad if Gernot Rohr leaves and we bring a coach
from Eastern Europe.
We don't know who is coming from Eastern Europe. First of all, if we had known his name, we would have been able to check his record, know how to assess him.
Of course.
But as it is right now, we don't even know who the person is. So, but I wouldn't want a situation where you cannot draw is fired and you bring a coach who can perform better. But as it stands for me, like I've been saying, I've always been an advocate of giving local coaches, especially those ones who have excelled. Someone like Amunike, fine. We all know what he did with Tanzania. Fine, you could say yes when they qualified for Nations Cup, but you can't compare the kind of materials Tanzania have and Nigeria. Don't forget that he qualified that country for their first ever Nations Cup. So that goes to show that when it comes to coaching, he has the pedigree. For him to go. How many Nigerian coaches have gone out there to distinguish themselves? Very few of them. So I believe someone like Amunike, I wouldn't mind him being given a chance. We all know what he even did when he coached the under 20 side, which has a bulk of the players currently in Super Eagles, the players. And if you really watch during when he coached the youth side, you could see how they were playing good football. So he's that kind of player who plays very, very positive and attractive football. So I don't think it will be a bad idea if I will give him a chance to also manage the national team and see what he can do.
The guy of Salisu Yusuf and Amunike, I believe that they can actually go far with the Super Eagles team. Let the NFF just give them a chance for them.
But for Bonprejo, and I think he's past it.
Yes.
Because currently, you can't just be outside the game
for a very long time. Because I've not had him coaching anywhere.
Then you hear that they might likely be a vacancy all of a sudden. Because today from some other fellow sports I saw a particularly very long letter he wrote to Nigerians talking about the team and how he can be able to still be of service and all of that.
It's not a rehab for any
at all.
For any coach at this point.
So at this point, I think
coaches at their best.
I think Bonprejo is completely out of it. If the NFF wants him in some sort of capacity, fine, but not as a coach.
Not as a coach. Please, NFF, please, we don't bring him. We go straight to our next topic, where we head straight to Delta at this point in time, where the Delta state government has actually approved 456 million naira for reward package for the girls athlete from the 2020 National Sport Festival actually hosted by Edo State early this year, and we know that 1 million naira will go for a good medalist, while the sum of 500,000 will go for the silver medalist, while the bronze will actually attract the sum of 250,000 respectively in that particular. Delta State won about 394 medals, comprising of 158 gold medal, 126 silver medal, and 110 bronze medal to emerge overall winners of the National Sport Festival. After looking at the reward packages by the Delta State government, you say this has been at the backbone of why sport is actually developing in that particular state.
Kudos to the Delta State government for he had promised the athletes these packages when the festival ended. So I'm happy that finally they've come out to announce that we are going to reward these athletes. So the good thing is he made the announcement initially when the festival finished, but now we are seeing that he's about to keep to the promise he made. So I think this goes a long way to motivate the athletes and all of that, because a situation where athletes represent a state or your country and they come back not being rewarded. We all know how the state of the sport is here. If these athletes, were earning money like that from the sport itself, but a lot of times, especially the ones local-based athletes, it's the money that they get from this reward from state governments and all of that they're able to sustain themselves. So I think good one coming from the state government, and other states I think should follow suit. States where your athletes who have performed irrespective of the position, but I believe in almost every state there's either one gold medalist, silver medalist, or bronze medalist from the sports festival. So I think other states too should take a lead from this, and we can see how Delta State, when it comes to sports in Nigeria, in every every sector of the sport,
both
always
the national youth games, national
exactly.
sports festival,
So but
they want dominating.
exactly. So it shows how serious the state government takes sport and how they are ready to reward their athletes who actually perform well.
Of course, other states should actually learn from the queue from Delta State. Don't host, the 21 edition of the National Sports Festival coming up next right there in Asaba, the state capital of Delta State. We go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about esports, and also we'll be looking at Arsenal versus Liverpool, rekindling the English Premiership rivalry in that particular one. That match will actually be going down tomorrow right there at Anfield. But we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we still have a lot to talk about. Don't go there.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome from that short break. Crystal Sports on it right here on the Leadership Podcast. Studio. We are straight to esports at this point in time when Nigerian contingent participated at the 13th edition of the Esports World Championship that actually went down right there in Israel. But they actually crashed out in the later stages of the competition. But for me, it was an eye opener for those particular players that actually competed in that particular event. Talking about the likes of Akintoye was there also to represent Nigeria. But Alpha, this sport, we know that we get to play it as just for fun and leisure. But at this point in time, we taking it a step forward.
No,
I
it's
think
a good thing because esports generally in the last couple of years has really taken root in Nigeria because there's hardly any neighborhood you go in where you don't find people who are
playing PS.
Of course, even me and a lot of my friends.
I still have a PS in the house.
We are
At this
really
point,
huge fans of esports and see, we've gotten to the stage where sometimes we even play it like in a competition format. So I really think it's good and this should be encouraged because this is also new for people who can actually step on the pitch to play the game. You could take up this as even a career because in other countries, this is a huge industry, and who says if this is not properly developed, it can go a long way in creating an avenue to engage a lot of youth.
As small as that federation, there's still leadership crisis working that particular
Because
I know towards the tail of last year, that was when all the politics was playing up and down. The ministry was supporting one particular faction against the other. So
every federation that has potential, because the way esports is going in Nigeria, you know that it's a lot of money.
Of course.
Yes, it's involved. So that's why federations, if you check out federations where there are hardly any crisis, you see that maybe It's not really too lucrative. But once every federation that is lucrative, there's always a crisis. Interest. And the annoying part is, at the end of the day, the ministry is always siding a particular camp and against the other, instead of coming in as a mediator. And these things continue to escalate this crisis. But I think this is, an emerging sector in our sport. So it's high time they resolve whatever issues they have in the federation. The better for us.
The head of the delegation, talking about the chairman, Lagos State Esports Association, talking about Emmanuel Oye Lekon, praised the government for its support and also called for corporate bodies to support a sports program in Nigeria. Oyelekon also served as the president of the African Electronic Sports Association, also praised the gamers and advised upcoming players that hard work and dedication pays off at the end of the day. Away from that, Barcelona is eyeing who has a at this point. The time Spanish giant Barcelona looking for Nigerians forward as a potential transfer option for the winter transfer. According to the Spanish publication, they're actually quoting some that Barcelona are actually looking for. I'm surprised at this news due to the fact that we know there's speculation. At the end of the day, nothing actually no.
Sure, I saw the story too. It was a bit of shock because all the players that have been linked to the time. This one just came out of the blue. But well, if it does happen, kudos to him, and of course, it's also a boost, a plus to Nigeria also. He plays in the second division.
Of course, Almera.
So I feel well with the coming of Zavina Baka. Maybe they might need some few power here and there because, as we all know, Aguero is yet to really get involved.
He might not even play football.
Exactly. Yeah, from what I hear, but we don't know yet. But so I think Baka already planning for life after him, and if they could get someone like Umar into their squad, it won't be a bad one because if you see his goal scoring record,
he's got 7 goals and made 6 assists out of 15 games this current.
Exactly. So I don't think it will be a bad move. And of course, there are a lot of young players coming through the ranks. So
it's just 24.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it will be an opportunity for him to also be in the mix and get to develop his game. So if he eventually turns over, but we all know how football was and all of that. So we'll keep monitoring the situation and see what becomes of it.
Barcelona may just have to cough out about 25 million pounds for Umar Sadiq. Let's hope that the deal will get to pull through for Umar Sadiq. Away from that, we have news from Bayern Munich at this point in time, where to bring Borussia Dortmund striker, talking about Haaland, to their side with a record fee of £75 million at this point in time. Chelsea, Manchester City are both targeting the Norway striker. Maybe a good move for Bayern Munich at this point in time, because we know Bayern Munich can see a poacher of Dortmund strikers. We saw that with
Lewandowski. Their players, Dortmund a lot of times.
For me, I feel like
to buy because once a Dortmund player does well, maybe give him 1-2 seasons, and before you know, moving on to Bayern. And the truth is, almost every player in Germany, irrespective of which club they play for, always has a special for Bayern. So I think if they are able to cover with funds, and of course, if Bayern make a serious bid for him, I'm sure Haaland won't have a problem selecting Bayern over the likes of Chelsea, Man City, and Man United, and the other clubs who are speculating. But that would be a good one for them, knowing well that maybe in another 2-3 seasons, their talisman with Lewandowski, might not be firing.
Of course.
So of course, they might need a superior, a goal scoring.
Imagine the combination of Lewandowski and
you devastating because
it was deadly attacking in Europe.
Devastating because for a team like Bayern, if it comes to Champions, I really don't want to achieve because before the league starts, you know that at least 90% they are going to win the league.
Of course.
And even Europe in recent years, they seem to do well in Europe. So, but if they are able to get Haaland, that would be a good move for both Haaland and also Bayern.
Of course, we wait and see how that gets to bounce out for Bayern Munich and for Eric Haaland in that particular one. Away from that, we head straight to news going to the EPL at this point in time, where Liverpool to test Arsenal revival at this point in time. We know that Arsenal, after losing their first 3 games in the English Premiership, they came back, smoking hot, getting to win 6 matches out of 8 and getting to draw the remaining 2 matches. But looking at the injury worries for Liverpool and also Arsenal, a little bit of good team. The likes of Thomas Partey is back, Granit Xhaka is back onto training, so it means that Arsenal will having Arteta will be having a full complement of his player when he gets to face Liverpool. But quickly, let's talk about this big game because it is the biggest game for this weekend.
No doubt, clearly. These kind of games are always very tough to call. But of course, knowing when Liverpool how they play when it comes to Anfield, and not forgetting that Arsenal are yet to win at Anfield for I think since 2012. So I think that will count for something for Liverpool. So
but just 2 points separating the side.
Yeah, just 2 points. But of course, whatever happens in this game, of course, we'll open the gap. Except anything other than a draw will open up the gap. So, but I think Liverpool playing at home will want to, not disappoint. We want to come out first blazing. And for their injury concerns, knowing Liverpool, I think they'll be able to cope. Of course, Sergio Manu might likely be involved now, and Salah might likely be involved. So of course, we want to see that we'll actually know. We just have recovered and those who haven't recovered, but clearly this is time for this weekend's EPL run of games.
Of course, let's quickly go to fixtures. Our producer, please kindly bring it up on the screen right about now. First, it will be going down right there at the King Power Stadium, where Leicester City we get to tackle Chelsea. This is another mouth-watering fixtures that we have in the English Premiership for this weekend. Early kickoff 1:30 Nigerian time. Also, Aston Villa will be up against Brighton. Burnley we get to face Patrick Vieira, the Crystal Palace side. Newcastle also will entertain Brentford. Norwich against Southampton. Watford, where we'll be seeing maybe Maduka Okoye will be manning the stick for Watford against Manchester United. Hope that will not be a baptism of fire for Maduka Okoye. Also, we're going to be seeing Wolves against West Ham. Talked about Liverpool against Arsenal. Man City against Everton. That's going to be another difficult match for both Rafael Benitez and also Pep Guardiola. Tottenham against City in that particular one. Quickly, Alpha. Mouth-watering clashes are with us this weekend in the English Premier League.
Yeah, almost all games are mouth-watering encounters. Tottenham, Leeds, Man City, Everton, of course, Leicester, Chelsea, Villa, Brighton. Not forgetting that Steven Gerrard is.
Of course, that was going to be his first game.
Also for Norwich, also first game of just sacked Villa coach Dean Smith will be up against Southampton. Of course. Man United were hoping to come back to winning ways after a not so convincing run of games, and of course this will be a make or my encounter for the under fire boss Solskjaer. This game will go a long way to determine his future at the club. Of course, we've heard that replacements have been lined up already to preparing for his exit. But let's see how that pans out. Of course, Wolves and of course the resurgent West Ham who have been. All cylinders, making a claim for the top 4 and
Liverpool.
Exactly, trying to push on foot, see if they can land one of the European Champions League spots. Of course, what other game? Yeah, Burnley with Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace. That's another game to look out for. And of course, Newcastle too with Eddie Howe's first game in charge. We all know what Brentford has been able to do so far this season. Yeah, exactly. So. Very, very mouth-watering clashes all over between tomorrow and on Sunday.
Man City against Everton.
Yeah, Man City, Everton. Mouth-watching clash also.
In the last 5 games between Liverpool and Arsenal, Liverpool has won 2 matches and Arsenal have won just 1, and they have joined the remaining 2 matches. Let's see how it gets the pans out. Let's see where the pendulum we're actually seeing when both team get to battle right there at the Anfield tomorrow. It will be the last match for tomorrow, 6 p.m. Nigerian time. Where will your mouth and your money will be in that particular fixtures? I leave you to decide in that particular one. This has been the package for sports orbit for this week. It has been interesting talking sports with Abacho in the studio today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, viewers, we want to thank you for staying with us. We'll make a return on Monday, bigger and better, with mouth-watering edition of Sports Orbit. We're going to be dissecting all the action that actually went down during the weekend, and also what we should expect in the coming week. But for now, my name is Olawale Ayeni. I'm saying do have a lovely day ahead of you. Happy weekend, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye, and God bless.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.